Time now for Money Matters Monday, and the time has finally come. You're ready to retire, but are you really ready to retire? Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Circle of Advisors, here with some advice. So here's the deal. We've had doctor on the show today, and it's Medical Monday, and up pops one of our financial gurus. But it's interesting, there is a strong connection, I would say, between maybe your financial well-being and your health.
It's very connected. You know, I don't think that there's anybody that can say if they've got financial problems that it doesn't affect their health. It's a lot of stress. And, you know, when people do get unhealthy, they want to try to find, you know, options to get healthier.
Yep.
And, you know, sometimes you listen to one person and you do that and it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But the reality is we really need to know what our choices are. And so what you want to do is you want to go somewhere where they're going to give you all of your choices instead of just one choice or two choices, right?
And this is interesting because this literally could be a conversation about our health, or it could be a conversation about our finances.
Absolutely.
To go to one place where you're presented with a lot of, I mean, I think we're firm believers on this show that knowledge is power. Just give me the information and let me make the best decision that I feel works best for me in my stage of life. And at Securus, you've got all those people under one roof, right?
Correct, right. And so, you know, when it comes to your finances, you want to make sure that, you know, you can integrate some guarantees into retirement. You want to be able to put your head on the pillow and sleep at night. And you want to know that you've got the options to choose from instead of somebody just saying, hey, this is the direction we're going to go and this is how it's going to work. You know, when you look at it at the end of the day, you really want to know, hey, did I leave an option laying on the table that I could have taken? Because one person's thought process about what safety is might be different than another's.
That's right. Yeah, we've talked about risk tolerance with you on the show before, too.
Right. So, you know, you go to somebody and they say, hey, you know, I don't want a lot of risk. Well, they're going to maybe take you to the least risky thing they have, but it doesn't mean that there's no risk, okay?
Right.
And so, you know, do you want guarantees or don't you? And so we just want to make sure that people understand that when they come to our office, they're going to get all of the options, not just one or two that, you know, some other companies might offer.
Sure. Well, to put a practical point on it, if you go to a bank and you talk to an advisor there, you're going to get the products that banks do well.
Absolutely.
If you go to a financial planner, you're going to hear a lot about the stock market.
Correct.
But I think what you're saying is you're going to show them the whole picture.
Right. Consider us kind of like the quarterback.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. You know, we're going to look at everything. We're going to look at it with all the professional people, and we're going to try to show them why what we're saying as a group is better than selecting, you know, just this one thing.
That's why they call it the Circle of Advisors. See? Thank you, Chris, very much. Good tie-in.
My pleasure.
If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. And check out their website, too, securemoneyplan.com.
I feel richer already.
You should.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Time now for Money Matters Monday. Planning for the future is hard enough, but what if your plan includes someone in your family or just a loved one with special needs? Joining us now is Brian Quinn, partner with Quinn Estate and Elder Law LLC. Also does some work with our friends at Securus Circle of Advisors. Brian, nice to have you here this morning.
Good to be here. Thank you very much.
Boy, I can imagine you've been a part of some very difficult conversations in families, because having a loved one, a child especially with special needs, presents its own challenges and its own adversities. Even if you can conquer those, you have to think to yourself, what happens to this person when I'm no longer able to care for them? That's your area of expertise.
Absolutely, and that's the big question too. So special needs is sort of a subset of estate planning and elder law, where it may be that you have a child that's born with something like Down syndrome or autism. Could be someone is in a car accident or has a stroke, something like that happens, where suddenly government benefits are going to be very important for those individuals because they may not be able to work, they may not be able to provide themselves health insurance or some sort of income, and oftentimes the primary caregivers will be the parents, and the child may outlast the parents as far as, you know, their life expectancy.
You would kind of hope they do, right?
Absolutely.
And yet the parents immediately think, well, gosh, what what happens to this person once I'm no longer a part of their lives.
And how do you protect that quality of life that government benefits like Medicaid or SSI, food stamps, housing vouchers, those kind of things can provide to someone, but still leave them an inheritance in a way where it doesn't wipe those government benefits that oftentimes take into account how much money you have, doesn't wipe those out.
I have, in the interest of full disclosure, I have a nephew with Down syndrome.
Oh,
One of my brother's sons has Down syndrome. And we almost had to have an educational seminar after that moment happened in the family where little things you would never think of, like giving that child cash for a birthday or for Christmas, might not be the best idea because there can be consequences in terms of government assistance or tax liability, things that were never even within my realm of thought before. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to help these folks think through, I would presume.
And oftentimes the special needs trust can be really helpful too, because if you structure the trust correctly, it can be a way to leave an inheritance to that person and give them the quality of life, but still protect that basic level of living that government benefits would provide. So allowing the trustee maybe to pay for things as opposed to giving them cash outright, just little things like that so that they can still enjoy their life and receive that inheritance, and the parents don't feel like they haven't either provided for their children or have to divide their estate unequally.
Right, and that's uncomfortable. And another uncomfortable conversation around the kitchen table. I would imagine, not knowing the answer to this question, I would presume by the time people come see you, you're probably thinking, boy, I wish you'd come see me a few years earlier.
Almost always.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's so many things that the sooner you can get in to see an estate planning attorney, especially one that has some special needs specialty like our firm does, the better off you are. But it's not just the legal planning that comes up, it's the financial planning and the tax planning like you alluded to there. And one thing that we try to do at the Circle of Advisors, Securus Circle of Advisors, is we try to combine that legal planning as well as the financial planning to make sure that we have good legal structure in place to give them that quality of life, that inheritance aspect, but enough money to meet their needs over the course of what their life will be.
That's where the Circle of Advisors, a whole lot of experts under one roof, is really so helpful. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate it. Good conversation. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. The Securus website, also very easy to navigate. Click on securemoneyplan.com, and we've added a link to Great Day St. Louis. I'm sorry, KMOV.com/Great Day. Welcome back, everyone. Time now for Money Matters Monday. And as we near the end of the year, what is it that you should be thinking about when it comes to your money? Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Circle of Advisors. He is joined by Chelsea Sweeten, also of Securus. Nice to have you both here this morning.
Thank you.
Can you believe we're talking about this already, number one? Here
crazy.
we are in December.
It just seems like we're just talking about it.
Now, you can make some decisions that are going to work out very well for you as we head towards the end of the year, or you can make some decisions that will send you into a tailspin. Put us in the right mindset. What should we be thinking about money-wise right now?
Well, first of all, when you're going through anything that might be related to taxes, because taxes are going to be here pretty soon, right?
Oh, yes.
Just start, setting things aside. Save your last statement so that you can actually have it when you go into the tax person. But more importantly, for budgeting, okay? You want to budget. And if you can start your budget now, next year might be a whole lot more fun because you'll know exactly how much money you have to spend or you don't have to spend. You'd be surprised when we sit down with people and do budgeting, they say, wow, I had no idea that I was spending that much money in this area. Or if they're making extra payments on something, could they be doing something different to actually make those debts go away quicker? So
yeah, it's almost like when a dietitian sits down on this set and says, if you just keep a log of what you're eating, you're going to be blown away. It's very similar. You're going to think, I spent that much on Starbucks this year?
Yeah.
And then at the other end of that equation is January. As we enter the new year, is there a separate set of things we should be thinking about?
Well, to try to follow the budget.
Right. I guess so. You've got the plan, now you got to work the plan.
Right. And, one of the things that we see a lot, and of course Chelsea can talk about it a little bit, what do you do in December so that you don't crash and burn?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, and
I
there's,
think,
there's,
yeah.
the, there's the caveat, Chelsea, is we can, and I think in this sort of consumerism world we're living in,
Yeah.
we feel like we need to spend more and more every single year.
Yeah, I think all of our cards are on fire right now. Just
Right.
spending
Yeah. The
so
magnetic
much for
strip is
Christmas.
melted off.
But it's important just to try and stick with your budget during Christmas. And I think a lot of times, if you've overextended yourself during Christmas, maybe plan for that next year. Buy gifts throughout the year, catch the sales after Christmas, budget yourself for next year to plan for that overextending of spending this time of year.
Because when you go see Securus, you don't want to be at the end of your rope saying, what did I do for the last 11 months that got me in this spot?
Well, you know, it's sad because people feel like, you know, gee, somebody bought me a present. Now I've got to buy them one back. You know, I don't
Very
necessarily
easy to
think that's,
overextend.
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
Just be conscious of it.
And just remember the true meaning of the season, right?
Right.
Correct.
It's the thought that counts, and it's togetherness. Doesn't mean you got to spend a boatload
Right.
to try to make other people happy. These are good tips. It sounds so easy when they say it. We just need to figure it out and work it. Chris, Chelsea, thank you guys so
Thank
much
you.
for being here.
thank you. Merry Christmas to everybody,
Yes,
too.
same to
Merry
you
Christmas.
guys as well. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, just give them a call, 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. Or check them out on the web, securemoneyplan.com. Guys?
That's why I didn't get you anything this year, Chris, because I thought that just our time together here was more important
Means
than
more
any gift I could have
than any
possibly
gadget.
found at any expense.
Yeah.
Your present
And I know
is his
you,
present.
I know you feel that way too.
Oddly enough, he doesn't.
I'm going to take yours back.
You're the one exception.
Oh boy, thank you very much.
It is time now for Money Matters Monday, and as you are planning to file your 2017 taxes, there are some things to keep in mind. This morning we have Chris Shreves with us. He is the president and CEO of Securus Circle of Advisors, and he's here with another one of the Circle of Advisors, Bob Woodsmall. He is also with ATAA Consulting. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen.
Good morning, Laura.
Very happy that you can both be with us, and it's great that we are talking about this because I started doing my taxes this weekend, and I have a feeling many of you are too. So let's talk two things. First off, tax brackets. Are there any changes we need to know as far as tax brackets go?
So for 2017, the brackets stayed relatively the same. The biggest change this year was from the tax law change that just happened right before Christmas. And there were a couple things that will change for 17 for special cases, such as if you had a business or something and you bought property after September 27th, you can take 100% depreciation in 17. That was new. And that was really the biggest change for 2017. But the big change is getting ready for 2018. They've done away with the standard deduction. Or they've increased the standard deduction, did away with the personal exemptions. And I think that's going to change a lot on how people do, especially wage owners, on their W-4. So it'll be very important for 2018 to get a good start on what your correct withholding would be, or you could end up at the end of the year possibly owing money or getting a very, very large, but mostly on the downside.
In general, I think taxes are pretty complicated for the regular people. And something that I always think about is going to the experts. These people know what they are doing with all of these changes. What else do we need to know?
Well, again, getting ready for 18 because they changed the child tax credit. They increased that if you have children. That will help you. The tax brackets change. In general, just about for everybody, there was something in there good for every taxpayer. But there's a lot of pitfalls in there. For instance, on the chart up there, if you look to the side, if you are a normal taxpayer, you're going to take standard deduction, married, 2 incomes, or single and 2 incomes if you work 2 jobs. If you have the wrong type of withholding, you're going to end up on the downside. A way in the past that tax preparers always corrected it and made sure they had enough withheld is they always adjusted the exemption side. Maybe there was a family of 4 and they said, oh, I'm married in 0. Well, there is no exemptions anymore, so that benefit goes away. You're not going to be able to do that. So you're going to have to get the correct withholding done up front.
With these changes, would you guys recommend people file earlier this year or don't wait until that April deadline?
Well, there's always a reason to file early, and that is there's still tax fraud out there. There's still people that are grabbing a hold of your Social Security number or whatever. And again, they're not filing your tax return. They're using your data to file a fake tax return. So the earlier you get filed, the less likely that'll happen to you from a tax standpoint. But obviously, you want to file with the correct information, and sometimes that comes in a little bit slower.
Thank you so much for joining us. Chris, we always enjoy seeing you on these Money Matters Mondays, and I have a feeling your office is going to be pretty busy over the next few months.
Yeah, I imagine it will. It normally is. And, you know, this is the time that people really need to focus on these changes, and that's why it's so important to understand why we bring all these people on board.
Thank you very much. If you would like to get in touch with a Securus Circle of Advisor for a free consultation, you can do that by calling 636-720-1900 or 1-800-720-4252, or find them on the web at securemoneyplan.com.
Welcome back, everybody. It is time now for Money Matters Monday. Are you saving for your child's education? Am I supposed to be doing that? Oh boy. If not, you might become one of the millions that are stuck in debt when they should be enjoying retirement. Wouldn't that be a bummer? Chris Shreves is the president and CEO of Securus Circle of Advisors, and he is here with some advice regarding not 529 plans, but 529 plans and the big changes involving the new tax plan that you should know about. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. We were just talking during the break. This can get a little complicated because different states have different rules. You can invest your money in different ways. So what do we really need to know about these 529s?
Well, first of all, you need to know that the rules are state specific.
Okay.
That's very important. Everybody needs to know that. One of the things that has changed, that has been a big change, is that you can use it for primary and secondary education. It means you can use it for grade school or high school or whatever, not just college. Okay?
That's a big change.
That's correct. And I think what most people really don't understand is what are the tax consequences of that plan. Mm-hmm. You really don't get any federal relief from that plan, you get state relief. Okay? Now, where it's really going to come in handy is one of two things. If you've got a lot of money that you can put in at one time, of course, any of the earnings or capital gains that would get
Right.
is going to be tax-free when you pull it back out for education.
On the state side.
On the state side,
Right.
right. Now, the other thing that you need to understand is there are some limitations on the primary and secondary education platforms. $10,000 is the maximum that you can use per year on that primary and secondary education. Now, you know, think about it. If you're got kids that are really young and you're just getting started, you've got plenty of time to build that account up, use the earnings out of that to pay for private school,
Right.
and then take the balance maybe and use it for the college side.
So when someone comes in and says, for example, my oldest is 10 and I have 4 that are younger than that, just playing what ifs, and I haven't saved anything for their college education, how do you start? What's the guiding principle here?
Well, you know, the neat part about this is your parents, kids' grandparents, can actually save for them as well, but the limitations are still there.
Right.
So even if they live in another state, they can still save for their grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and so on.
Yeah,
Okay?
so aunt and uncle, grandma, grandpa who live in Texas can invest in a Missouri or an Illinois 529 plan, right?
They can, and there are certain rules that you
Right.
just really need to make sure when you're getting ready to do this, you know, what those state-specific rules are for you specifically.
And realize what they're designed for. This is not something you're going to retire on. This is something specifically designed for these educational and tuition
That's
expenses.
correct. That's
Okay.
correct, right.
Right. So don't add this to your nest egg. Okay.
So,
thank
so
you.
I would just suggest if you've got any questions, just call our office.
Yep.
Come in, talk to us. You know, we'll make sure that you understand how yours would work.
This is what they're doing around the clock. So why not get the help of an ear who's trained in this sort of thing? Thank you, Chris, very much. We appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. Or check out their website, too. Good resource there, securemoneyplan.com. It's time now for Money Matters Monday. Unless you've been living in a cave somewhere, you've probably heard about the insanity with the stock market. So, on this Medical Monday, maybe it's time to up the heart meds. Bart Humphrey is the Vice President of Education Development with Securus. He joins us this morning to calm our nerves, and all I have to say is you got a lot of nerve showing up in here. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. In fact, you guys oftentimes have told us that there are alternatives out there to pulling the lever on the slot machine, and maybe we'll talk about that. But what do you have to say in general about the volatility we're feeling right now?
Well, I think it's somewhat normal in a way, isn't it?
Of course it is. Yeah.
I mean, anybody who's lived through the last 20 years of the market cycle, we've had some really good times. And, you know, I think there's honestly a lot of reasons to be optimistic about the market. But the fact is, Matt, it's like a world of dominoes anymore, because we can be doing great here, but something in Europe. We can be doing great here, but something in Germany, something in China. All over the world, the markets are connected. There could be a war, you know, pop up in Korea for all we know, right? It
Sure,
could happen before the Olympics are over. We don't know. So we believe you should be proactive instead of reactive. You know, it's Medical Monday. So you can go to the doctor. He can tell you, and we've all heard these stories, he can tell you, boy, you're doing great. Everything looks fantastic. The next day, you die of a heart attack. So
when your number's up.
Yeah, when your number's up,
Yeah.
and then, you know, you've left behind those that you've left behind. So we just believe, be proactive, be positive, but make sure your financial situation, your portfolio can stand the stresses that we know are possible to happen. And that way you're not left holding the bag of nothing.
Just lending credence to this idea that it's unpredictable. The latest explanation I've heard of the downturn, and only Wall Street could turn a mountain of positives into a negative. They were great earnings reports and great employment numbers and great this and great that, and so apparently the concern was, well, rates are going to go up. They're going to start boosting interest rates to limit inflation, and that allegedly is one of the factors that.
Right.
So you're right. Even when things are going well, clearly the stock market offers no guarantees of return.
Well, as you know, we really specialize in retirement. So we just believe as you get closer and closer, you need to start pulling in on the risk. And those things, like you're saying, good news all of a sudden creates a bad result. That's insane. So just limit those things to your particular situation if they're not going to affect your lifestyle. And that's the most important thing I can recommend.
And that's why, honestly, I am very glad you're here today specifically, because you do work with people that are near or in retirement. And if we're being honest with ourselves, those are the people who are most significantly impacted by a market downturn like the one we've experienced over the last week and a half, because they're on the cusp, and they can't stand as many of these cycles as someone who's 25 can.
So you don't have that opportunity to recover.
Right.
Is what you're saying, and then that's true. So when you have saved, make sure it's in a savings. When you have an investment, then it's at risk, and we all realize that. But understand that risk and make sure it's not going to impact you, your family, your legacy, your lifestyle.
There you go. This is what they do. If you'd like to get in touch with the Securus advisor for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252. Much more on their website, too. It's securemoneyplan.com. Bart, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's time now, my friends, for Money Matters Monday. You work hard for your money, don't you? But how much of it is going to pay the bills, and how much is actually put away for play? I like that idea. Chris Shreves, he is the president and CEO of Securus Circle of Advisors, and he would like to talk about your paycheck and your play check. You're blowing my mind right now. What a great idea. Good morning to you, first
Good
of all.
morning. How are you?
I'm good. So is this a priority that investors and people with retirement in mind should keep in the back of their head? What is this play check idea?
Well, if you're getting close to retirement, you ought to start thinking about what's going to take place of the paycheck that you currently are earning, right? Because that has to pay the bills. Some of those bills will never go away. You'd like to, pay off some before you retire, but the reality is you need to know that you've got an income that can last you for the rest of your life that will never run out. And so that's a green money side. You got to protect the actual money that you put in. You got to protect the earnings that it generates, and then you got to protect the paycheck that it gives you. So that's your paycheck, okay?
Right.
So that's what's going to pay for all of your things that never go away. The play check is the money that you have left over. Now, if you want to invest that into the market, risk it, take it to the boat, go on vacation, give it to your grandkids, whatever you want to do, that's what you do with those extra dollars. But first you have to figure out how you can create both of those.
Interesting. And I've heard a lot of retirement investment specialists say, let's start with what you're spending now. Tell me how much you spend every month right now. And I hear that, but there's a part of me that says, well, maybe when I'm retired, maybe I want to spend a little more than I'm spending right now. Maybe I want to travel. Maybe I want to take the grandkids to Disney World and have some of these expenses that I don't have in my life right now.
Well, every day's Saturday
Right.
when you
Hey,
retire. So,
yes.
you know, you have to realize you're going to probably be spending money, you know, when you're not earning it anymore. So it's just important to sit down with somebody and try to figure out, you know, if we were going to leave here today and go to Florida, right?
Yeah.
It would be much easier if we had a map and we looked at where we were at today and where we want to be at in Florida. How would we get there? This is how, right? If you don't know where you're at today, how can you get started?
Right, right. So, and this is a sort of a sliding scale. If you're my age, the map might look a little different
Sure.
than if I was 3 years away from retirement. And obviously that's something you guys take into account.
Yeah, the 3 to 5 years prior to retirement and the 3 to 5 years after retirement can make retirement.
So
That's-
if you're going
that's
to
just
make
the
some
reality.
mistakes, that's not the time
That
to
is
make those
not
mistakes.
the time to make those mistakes.
Because it's
That's
almost
right.
like correcting the course of the ship on that map from here to Florida. It takes a lot longer to fix those off-kilter courses at that point than it does right now. right?
Exactly, and I think, you know, here in the last 2-3 weeks, I think we've all gotten a little reminder,
I thought
you
that
know,
might come up.
that
Yes.
things can happen.
Yes.
You know, I still think that things are positive, but the reality is we needed that check. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so you can't afford to not have some guarantees in your retirement plan.
And how many Monday mornings has this guy sat in this chair and said, just wait, it's coming, and we had it, and we'll have more. It's just the way of the world. Thank you, Chris, very much.
My pleasure.
Guaranteed earnings. I always like the sound of that. If you'd like to get in touch with a Securus advisor to hear more about that, for a free consultation, you can call them 636-720-1900 or 800-720-4252, or on the web at securemoneyplan.com. And guys, when you call them, when you go to the website, ask them about the paycheck versus the playcheck.
Paycheck.
I
I
like
like
that.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll just take the paycheck at this point, to be honest with you. If I just knew that was coming, I'd be in good shape. Feel a lot better about things. Thank you, Chris.
Have you ever been told you haven't lost money until you've sold? Your statements don't lie. Call Securus. Let us help you secure your tomorrow today. If you were in an accident today that left you unable to make decisions for yourself, who would do it for you? Without a durable power of attorney, your family could not pay your bills or make medical decisions on your behalf. It's an important document that everyone should have.
The best time to prepare for long-term care is before you need it, when you're healthy and you can carefully consider all of your options. Contact us today to learn more. More adults today will one day need long-term care, services at home, in an assisted living, or in a nursing home, and the cost for care is on the rise.